The Devil's Lair is the first strike available in Destiny, where Sepix Prime lurks and feeds its power to the Fallen. Don't think that just because it's your first time that they're gonna go easy on you. This is the level 8 version of the strike from the Destiny beta. If the strike has major changes from the beta to release, this video will be updated with a new guide. Before we start, for those of you not versed in MMO speak, you'll hear the word adds a lot. Adds just means additional enemies. An ideal composition would consist of either 2 Striker Titans and 1 Void Caller Warlock, or 1 Striker Titan and 2 Void Caller Warlocks. You can have a Hunter with no issue, but they do not bring as much to the table compared to the Titan and the Warlock for this specific strike. Warlocks should utilize any zoning abilities, so that's Vortex Grenade and Vortex Nova Bomb. Striker Titans should use their Flashbang Grenade. Stack as much discipline as possible and wear any armor that speeds up the cooldown of your grenade. 55 to 60 discipline at level 8 will put you at the discipline cap. The more grenades you are able to use, the easier the first and final bosses will be. Make sure everyone has an arc damage weapon in at least 1 slot, preferably either a fusion rifle or a shotgun. Solar weapons will make quick work of Hive Wizards, but there are only a few, so 1 or 2 people with a solar heavy machine gun will suffice. The first boss is a firefight style event. Your ghost needs to break into a panel and bring down the barrier that blocks your path, and, well, the Fallen aren't just going to let you hang out. The first round has 3 waves of enemies, consisting of Fallen Dregs, Vandals, and 2 Captains. Enemies spawn from 4 to 5 specific doorways throughout the encounter. The back of the room has 3 areas where enemies will spawn from. The rightmost doorway will only spawn 1 Captain, the middle door will spawn Dregs and Vandals, and the leftmost will spawn a Captain and Dregs. Once the first round of enemies spawns, you'll have Dregs pouring out. After that first wave, you'll have more Dregs come out of the middle door. Once those Dregs are dead, the final wave will spawn, which consists of 8 Shanks. 4 of them will spawn from the middle doorway, and 4 of them will spawn in the doorway in the lowest part of the area. It's the small room on the right in the hallway that leads to the giant hive tunnel. Have 2 of your party members focusing on the left and middle doorways and assign each one of them a doorway to grenade. The right side doorway should have a team member with an arc damage special weapon take out the captain quickly. Have all members get ready in their spots, and then have the final member activate the event. As soon as the enemies spawn, throw your grenades at your respective doorway. This is why the flashbang and the vortex grenades are so important. The final member should quickly dispatch of the captain. In this case, I am using an arc shotgun, but I do not use my grenade. The person on the captain on the right should avoid using their grenade, because if you clear the wave fast enough, it won't be up for the next wave. 2 well-placed shotgun blasts should take out the captain, 1 for the shield, and then a second shot to the head. Do not be afraid to get up close, but watch out for the teleport. As soon as the right side captain is down, that member should head back to help take out the rest of the enemies. As soon as all the Dreg are dead from both waves, the Shanks will spawn, but you'll have enough time to reload to take them out as they spawn in. Do your best to kill the Dregs as they are coming out, because they will run to the opposite side of the room if they slip through. Nothing really happens if they slip through, but it just slows you down and becomes an annoyance. Round 2 is much shorter, but has much bigger threats. The left and right doors will spawn a captain with a few Vandals, including 1 stealth sniper Vandal. The middle door will spawn Vandals and Dregs. After that first wave is clear, the left and middle doors will spawn 3 stealth melee Vandals each. There are a few ways to handle this. A well-placed grenade on the left and right side will completely destroy the entire groups that spawn, with a couple of extra shots required for the captain. You can also super the left and right sides, but wait until there is a large group of enemies spawned, because enemies that do not leave their doorway are immune to damage. You will spawn a good chunk of orbs. In this clip I spawned 6, which is enough to give someone else a full super. However, the left and middle doors should make sure they have something, either a grenade or a super, to quickly clear the stealth melee Vandals. Round 3 is much longer and much more chaotic. Both Hive and Fallen enemies will spawn at the same time. In the first wave, in the 3 doorways, you'll see Dregs, Vandals, Stealth Vandals, and Captains. Captains will only spawn in the left and right side doorways. Hive will run out from their cave area, ranging from Acolytes, Thralls, and a Wizard. You should ignore all the Hive enemies, including the Wizard, until all Fallen enemies are dead, because they are a much larger threat. You should treat the Fallen in round 3 the same way you did in round 2. Any combination of grenade and or super can take out an entire doorway of enemies with a couple of shots extra for the captain. The captain tends to run out first and then will be followed by the rest of the enemies. An ideal situation would be to catch everything in one blast, but you should prioritize putting your grenade on the big batch of enemies. In this clip, I throw my grenade which kills all the fallen while I kill a fallen captain in 2 shots. Once you clear all of the fallen, you can take on the hive, who are much less difficult to kill. They'll probably be very spread out right now, but they're all very weak. Have one person whip out their solar damage special or heavy weapon to make quick work of the wizard's shield. Once most of the hive have died, more will spawn, including 2 wizards. These 2 wizards will spawn where the shanks spawned in round 1. You should definitely whip out a solar heavy machine gun at this point, as the wizards can be very overwhelming if not taken care of quickly. Everything else is not really that much of a threat and can be taken down with ease. After all the hive are dead, head back up to the 3 doorways to prepare for shanks and more fallen. The rightmost doorway will not spawn anything, but the middle and left will spawn stealth vandals and drags after the shanks. Once again, supers and grenades are your friends. Stealth melee vandals can quickly overwhelm any player, so it's best to take them out all at once. After that wave comes the boss wave. If a Titan has their flashbang available, they should throw it at the middle door to stun Naxxus, the boss, but wait until you see him out in the open before throwing it. You'll have more drags and vandals spawning, so use grenades and supers in rotation. Do not use everything at the same time so you can maximize damage. Use everything that you have on this boss to kill it quickly. There won't be any more waves after this one. After you kill the boss, the gate will open and you can move to the next area. Any remaining enemies will stay alive though, so make sure to kill them before moving on. The Devil Walker is the second boss and is not that difficult, but can kill you very quickly if you're not paying attention. As you're walking into the area, sprint to the building right in front of you as you come outside. You'll have a few seconds before the Devil Walker lands and becomes active. You'll want to kill all of these adds as quickly as possible because they can and will become a big problem if not taken out. Pay extra attention to the vandals, as their sniping can bring you to very low health very quickly. Don't forget about the vandal on the top right side of the area. He can be tricky to take down due to the cover. After all the adds are clear, you should stay as spread out as possible. The ideal situation is to have players on opposite sides of each other so that the boss has to turn back and forth, which gives you extra time to shoot the boss without worry. You should never be in the middle of the area, as you make yourself very vulnerable and you cannot effectively shoot the boss. Try to place any terrain between yourself and the boss to block its attacks. The Devil Walker has a few attacks. Its main attacks are a minigun on the front, call out Mini, a missile launcher that shoots arc blasts, call out Blue, and a rocket launcher which is aimed with a giant red laser, call out Rocket. He will occasionally spawn blue arc grenades that bounce around the area. My call out is Shock Rocks. These Shock Rocks have the potential to one-shot you. You can shoot them to blow them up, but you're better off just avoiding them. Every 15 to 30 seconds, the Walker will spawn 2 shanks which are simple enough to take down right away. Finally, if you get close to the Walker, it will charge up and unleash an arc damage AoE which deals very heavy damage. There is no reason to ever get close to the Devil Walker. Be aware that the missile launcher and rockets can deal considerable splash damage, so breaking line of sight isn't always enough. Using the interior areas or areas with any ceiling is risky. The left side has a staircase you can use as an escape to dodge any attacks, but it is very easy to get yourself stuck and there is no room for error. If you get caught in that area, you will die. The same goes for the right side. There is an escape available, but you can get killed very quickly. The minigun is not a big deal as long as you don't stand still and just take it to the face. The missile launcher is very dangerous, especially if you're in a tight space. They will kill you if you are not paying enough attention. At the very least, you should call out the arc blasts and the rocket to your fire team so they know that they are safe to engage the boss. The Devil Walker has 6 legs and they are all the weak points of the boss. Hitting a leg will result in 1.5 times the damage of a normal shot, and all other shots to any other part of the Devil Walker will result in considerably less damage. Your team should focus fire each leg individually, because when a leg suffers from enough damage, the boss will go down and expose its core. Shooting the core causes the boss to take even more damage, but it is only exposed for a short time. The boss will do its arc AoE every time it recovers. It is not worth going into super if you are a Titan. When the boss goes down for the first time, a pack of fallen enemies will spawn from the doorway on the left and the right. On the left side, you'll get 2 dregs, a vandal, and a captain, and on the right side, you'll get 3 dregs and a vandal. The left side should have 1 person assigned to this area when the boss goes down to take care of the adds. A Titan works very well since their super isn't very effective against this boss, but is very effective against the captain. Their grenade also works very well. The other 2 members should focus on the boss's core this time. The right side adds are not as deadly as the left side, and depending on positioning, can be ignored until the boss recovers. At this point, a timer will start for the next wave of fallen. If you bring the boss down again in under a minute from the first time, the fallen wave will not spawn until the timer reaches 1 minute. If you take longer than a minute to bring down the boss, the fallen wave will spawn as the boss goes down. However, if you take longer than 2 minutes to bring the boss down again, the fallen wave will spawn after those first 2 minutes. The left side wave will only spawn the first 2 times you bring down the boss, so when you bring the boss down for a 3rd time and beyond, there is no fallen spawn on the left side. On the right side, they will continue. Continue to shoot the walker's legs to bring it down, and eventually it will blow up. The final boss is Sepix Prime, which is basically just a giant servitor. When you walk into the area, it'll be invulnerable to damage until you kill all of the fallen in the area. After all the fallen are killed, it'll become active and the fight will start. Sepix Prime only has 2 attacks. Its first is its Void Blast attack, which launches purple blasts at you. These are not particularly life-threatening, nor are they difficult to avoid, but they can be an unexpected source of damage when you are fighting adds later in the fight. There's plenty of cover as well, so this shouldn't be a huge issue. Its other attack is a Void Beam. This attack does very high damage to targets very close to it, and will kill you very quickly. It is a targeted attack. It is not an AoE. If you ever find yourself very close to the boss, you should run. Note that the beam can be blocked by getting behind cover and getting out of line of sight. Sepix Prime will also teleport all over the area, so calling out its location is always helpful. Many fallen enemies will be spawning throughout the fight: shanks, dregs, and vandals. Starting around 1 minute and 20 seconds after the boss becomes vulnerable, there is the possibility of a spawn containing 3 vandals and a captain to the left. Call out Captain or Captain Pack. This is easily the most important pack of enemies you need to kill, as it can overwhelm a player very quickly. A Titan Super is a great way to dispatch of this pack quickly. The Captain Pack has the possibility of respawning as quickly as 1 minute after the initial spawn, so if that first spawn was around 1 minute and 25 seconds, it can spawn again as quickly as 2 minutes and 25 seconds into the fight, but not before that. The amount of packs varies per fight. I've seen as many as 3, and I've had fights where it never spawned at all. Another thing is the dropship. The dropship will spawn many fallen enemies: dregs, vandals, and shanks. The dropship will also shoot at you, so it's a very good idea to hide behind cover during this time. The dropship can spawn anywhere between 1.5 and 2 minutes after the boss is vulnerable, and will come back every 1.5 to 2 minutes. As for taking care of the adds that spawn, a super is a very risky idea, especially if you're a Titan. A well-placed Titan super can clear almost the entire pack, but it leaves you very vulnerable. If Sepix is in the right place, it will kill you with its beam very quickly. Even a Warlock super can be risky, although it is much safer than a Titan super. A common strategy for this fight is to have 1 person by the doorway that you come in from, 1 person in the middle behind cover, and 1 person off to the right by all the boxes. Spreading out prevents splash damage and gives a wider view of the area, so you can easily call out where the boss teleports. A Titan is good for the middle position, as they'll probably be taking a lot of splash damage from the boss and from enemies. The player on the left is responsible for calling out the Captain Pack. They should guide it into the doorway, and the person in the middle should come to assist. Ideally, the pack will be called out fast enough so that the middle player can either super or flashbang the pack and hopefully kill everything quickly. However, there is also another strategy to this fight, which is basically an all-in. All players should go up the stairs to the left and box themselves in using this block as cover. This is more of a burn strategy, where you only kill adds when you absolutely need to and instead focus all of your shots on the boss. You shouldn't get many waves of adds using this strategy. You'll definitely get at least 2, the first being a wave of Shanks, and the second being a wave of general fallen enemies, but no captains. However, if you get unlucky or are not fast enough, you will get a dropship, and the dropship, combined with the boss's AoE Void Bolts, can quickly put a damper on this plan. Use as much heavy ammo as you possibly can, do not save anything. Warlock Vortex Grenades shine here, use them on the boss after a teleport. This fight is all about ad management and killing them quickly so you can get back onto the boss. All players should be focusing ads down as quickly as possible as they spawn. As long as ads die quickly and you take down the captain pack, this fight should be over in about 3 to 5 minutes. That is the end of Devil's Lair. It should take the average group around 20 to 30 minutes to complete, or faster if you decide to skip everything before the first boss. I hope you enjoyed this video, and a positive rating is always appreciated if you did. I like to think that this is a preview of what's to come with regards to strategy videos, to strikes, and raids in Destiny. That's going to do it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and have fun in Devil's Lair.